On Monday, May the 21st, the Next Generation Movement for Peace and Nonviolence went to Pensacola, Florida. At the Woodland Heights Neighborhood Resource Center, the Florida chapter had a Peace and Nonviolence Rally. The purpose of this rally was to meet and reach the needs of the children in the area, and also to find solutions for the things that were impacting the lives of those children. One of Escambia County's juvenile probation officers went on to discuss how important it is to get your children involved in activities at school.
You really don't see the kids that are actively involved in school in the system. You see them once or twice, something happens. But majority of the times, they're doing well at school because they're in track. They're playing basketball, they're playing football, they're doing something. Once they're doing something, they're now available to their friends. Because if they don't make it for a track meet is occurring, and I need you. You know, you're my first leg or whatever it is to pass the baton, okay? You know, they need you. So you know, for you to be there, you can't get in trouble.
Another Escambia County juvenile probation officer went on to tell parents what happens when a child gets on probation.
Once a kid gets on probation at the age of 13, okay, you get those sanctions that tell you the general sanction, then you're going to get the sanctions that the judge tells you about the curfews and things of that such. But the general sanction that I noticed that hurts a lot of kids, she said up to the age of 19. But he got on at the age of 13. But we're going to keep him on to the age of 19, one referral. One referral in school, ladies and gentlemen, will keep you on probation. If you get two, one is 5 days security detention, 2 is 15.
Crumb Cupcakes, where you taste the love in every bite. We specialize in cupcakes, cookies, brownies, and cupcakes in a jar. We also do weddings, parties, engagements, or just any occasion. Call 334-654-0056. Again, that's 334-654-0056, or go online at www.cookiecrumblecupcakes.com. And also check out the book called Crumbs from the Master's Table, full of delicious recipes and inspirational messages.
I pray and I thank.
Hi, I'm Pastor Jonathan King of the Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, where we are the church with a vision. We have our men ministry, women ministry, our children ministry, and our senior citizen ministry, which we feed them every second Saturday of every month. We welcome you to the Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, a church with a vision.
Reverend Dr. Jamal Finkley spoke to the parents and children about understanding both sides of the fence. He discussed the issues his mother had to face raising his siblings and himself. He even discussed how hard it was being a father and dealing with the issues of his daughter.
I stand before you now as a pastor, and I can say this because I am a pastor. The church hadn't done all that it was supposed to do. That is the missing component in what you all are dealing with. The church has to play its part as well. I want you to look to your neighbor and say, if it's a guy, say you're handsome. Look to your neighbor. If it's a girl, say you're beautiful. Turn to him. You know what? It's about self-esteem. My heart went out to this young lady because my daughter is 7 years old. She came home. She's in the Atlanta public school system. She came home. She said, Dad, I don't want to go back to my school anymore because they're roasting me at school. She's a beautiful girl. She's a PK. And they were roasting. I didn't even know. I taught high school. I didn't know they bullied children at the age of 7. And when your child come home telling you, especially your girl telling you something is wrong, you really want to do something about it. And this pastor right here did do something about it. I launched an investigation because I wanted to know who bothered my child. So we need to take stuff like that serious. So here it is. If it wasn't for the Boys and Girls Club, I wouldn't be who I am today. If it wasn't for people like Miss Smith and Mrs. Alexander, I wouldn't be who I am today. Here's what we're building. My bishop in the AME Zion Church has put me over all of the children in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi. And so I'm building a team of people, of stakeholders that can deal with the issues. We need to bring everybody to the table. and to find out how we can help these children. You hear me? You said we need basketball. I just asked him before I came in the door, I said, can I monopolize the league in here in basketball? I want to own this league that we have here in this gym. In other words, next generation is going to put basketball. If we can't afford it in our communities, next generation is going to do it. We got to come together as parents, as leaders, whatever you do. I have millionaires on my committee. I have the smallest person that makes $7.75 an hour on my committee. But we're trying to come together to see how we can bless these children. Amen. And Mother, you are right. Sometimes it's not always the parents' fault. My last week's symposium, and I want you all to be a part, my last week's symposium was about what if the parent has done all that she know to do? And she checked all the boxes, she did everything right. And the children still decided to do the wrong thing. It's not always the parents' fault. We deal with the iPad, iTech, iPhone generation, this, that, and you can get just about anything on your telephone. Peer pressure. Peer pressure is really, really a difficult thing with our children. And so I'm saying to you, I'm lending myself to be the bridge that we're missing between, they're doing a wonderful job. Parents, you're doing a wonderful job, but they can't do it by themselves. Amen. You can't do it by yourself. And I'm saying that the church hadn't been all that it needed to be. Real quickly, and I'm sitting down. I went to seminary school. And they said Christian education starts at home. I said, what? I know education starts at home, but not Christian education. Absolutely. I thought that starts at church, right? I said, no, it starts at home. And when she broke it down to me, she said, before YMCAs and Boys and Girls Clubs even existed, the churches, one church would have a vacation Bible school this week, and all of the children would go to that vacation Bible school. The next week, the next church would have vacation Bible school, and all of the same children would go to this church. For the whole summer, the children had something to do. I think what has happened, we have gotten so cliquish that you think your problem can't help somebody else's problem. And as a result, we watch children slip through the cracks when what you are going through, somebody else is going through, and how you dealt with it, it can help them. And we got to be able to communicate. And so I'm saying, y'all need to take down my number, I'm going to leave it with you. If you get a flyer, you'll have it. But Reverend Thomas is a good guy, and we thank God. Give him a hand. We thank God for him. We thank God for them. Parents, look, we coming to offer help. Reverend, thank you. Little thank you. We're coming to offer help. And so I'm asking all of those that want to be a part of our team to help us with children and youth. Please let Reverend Thomas know so that we can help our children. Again, I'm taking the blame. The church, the pastors. We sit in our churches. We only come to church on Wednesday and Sunday. That's not enough. If you're not involved in the community, you're really not a pastor. Put your big Cadillac up, put on some sneakers and go to the school. Shoot some ball with the boys. Go eat lunch with some of the kids in the schools and stuff like that. We got to get back to those things. And I'm just saying, Mother, you're doing a wonderful job. I was telling everybody while you were gone, my daughter is 7 years old and she got bullied at school. And I was angry. But guess what? I teach my child just like he said. If somebody touches you, you tell the teacher. You hear that? And I'm so glad he said what he said. If you fight, you're going to what? How easy is it to fight?
Easy.
And if anybody plays sports, they always get the second person that hit first. And so I teach my daughter, don't hit back and go tell the teacher. Well, my daughter went and told the teacher. I thank God for that. Okay? Children are bringing weapons to school. We saw what happened in Texas. Right in Birmingham, Alabama. A young girl got killed in school. So be careful. Look, sign this list. We're gonna send you things, and I need Miss Smith and Brother Alexander to be a part. I'm gonna leave you a phone number. We have a conference call every Tuesday night, and the things that we're dealing with on this conference call is to help with parenting, because it's not always the parents' fault. And so you all welcome to listen in on the call. We have people from California, Chicago, all over the world. We're building chapters all over the world so that and you will notice on the phone call that everybody got the same problems. So how do we fix it? We gotta find a way to bridge the community, church, schools. Everybody's complicit. Everybody's at blame for our children slipping through the cracks.
Amen.
Amen?
I just want to say this one thing since you brought it up. God was the perfect father. In the garden, he provided everything for his children, every good thing. And the children still do not trust the father. And then it turned into a blame game. And then we just started all blaming each other. And some of us, we all doing the best we can. God did everything. Gave them everything that they needed. And the kids still turned their back on God. And they're still doing it. And we just have to, as parents, we just have to help each other. We have to encourage one another instead of blaming, instead of, if you would do right, your kid would act right. You know, everybody's doing the best they can, and if what they're doing ain't working, step in and be like, maybe I can be the missing link. And not be offended if somebody tries to help, and not think they're trying to put you down or something, but you know, maybe I'm more bold, maybe you're more quiet, maybe you're more friendly, you're more athletic, you know, and if we could stop looking at each other like we're a competition, and we're a community, and we're here trying to, like I think he said from the beginning, that we're here to raise kids. We're here, this is not going to be a kid forever, this is a man. This is a man in training, and whatever we can do to help our kids is what we need to do. And if that means me saying, I don't know what to do, somebody help. And that's what we got to do, and not blame, and just say, and just help.
Ms. Little, you taught school, mother, you teach school. I taught high school. That my department head, I taught social studies. My department head had children in her class that she could not handle. So she would send them to me on that period with their books and with the paper, because we didn't want to send them to alternative school. Because Ms. Little, Reverend Little is right. You don't get what you need in alternative. That's another story for another day. But I would take the difficult kids. They would still get the education that they needed. And the people that I couldn't reach, she took them for me. So we had this team approach. It's a team, we're a team. It's no MVP, most valuable parent. Nobody has a patent on how to raise children. Some things parents just gotta pray about. You're gonna stress out and cause yourself some health concerns, worried about something that you may not be able to fix. But I know somebody that can fix it. Sometimes you gotta turn that over to a higher power. We in the community, you gotta turn that over to a higher power. Because I know who's able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we could ever ask or think. But you need to turn it over. Sometimes the breakthrough don't come because we still have our hands on it. When you release it, then God can fix it.
I've been beat down, pressed down, left out in the storm. But Lord, I'm still listening. I'm listening. I've been beat down, pressed down, left out in the storm. But Lord, I'm still listening. I'm listening to your word.
Life can be so Hi, I'm Delindra Tarsavina, and we're here in Florida. And we just had a great meeting with the parents. They were given much information about what parents can do if their students are being bullied, what parents should teach their children as far as how to deal with the situation when they're being bullied. And it's very hard to understand those things. So we actually had police officers to give them the law. So now we're here with Reverend Finkley and Reverend Thomas, and we're going to get some information about the program here in Florida. So, Reverend Thomas, can you tell us what you've been doing here in the Resource Center and in Florida?
Well, one of the things I do here at the Resource Center is I work with after-school children as a counselor. But being here, coming in, being a part of that, actually I found myself being extended a little bit more, because seeing the need that was going on, not just with the children in the after-school program, but the need of this area, this community, and the children that are part of this community. And so I began to just basically extend myself outside of just dealing with those children to reaching out to all of the children. And so one of the things that we noticed was that some of our children were already in certain situations and dealing with probation, and they needed a place to do some community service hours. And so I spoke with our supervisor here about being able to take on that particular assignment to also work with the young individuals, as well as do it through a mentoring project, which actually led to meeting juvenile probationary officers and being a support for these young individuals who have to go before the court, dealing with the judge who's asking questions. And I found out that a lot of these children have no one standing up with them, or standing up behind them, or even standing up for them. And so being able to be in that position, as a pastor, I would go and make sure that I was dressed properly to represent them and speak on their behalf, as far as letting them know that they have done everything that I've seen on paper that they were supposed to do. And then if not, we would try to work together in concert with those who also had involvement to see what can we do to resolve the situation. So I found myself being able to go to court on several occasions and meeting some of the JPOs and taking some of these children to see their JPOs, because transportation is an issue, not just those monthly visits, but also even getting to court. And so seeing these needs, it allowed me to play more of a part in assisting them along the way. And so not just for that particular situation, but also being able to really be someone that they can see every single day. And they even can call me or text me, you know. So, but developing that type of relationship with them, where I had to actually gain their trust first.
I heard earlier something that kind of touched my spirit, because as a teacher, I know when students fight, you know, they might get reprimanded, they might get suspended, but I heard several references to jail time. Is that what they do here? As soon as they fight, they go into the system?
Here in Escambia County, we're pretty known now for the pipeline from school to prison. Per capita, we outdo Miami.
Wow.
Escambia County is at the top of that list. So we're dealing with a major issue, a major problem. But the good thing about what we're trying to do, and with the Next Generation movement, extending its branches, what we're connected to now, is we want to make sure that we're fighting. So we have to be able to fight on every level. And so that's going to be very key, that's going to be very important, that we tap into the proper resources to fight on every level for all of our children. And whether it's through the legal system, the school system, the community systems, the church system, we want to be able to do just that. And so the fight that we have here, we also want to be extending and supporting those who are fighting on another level.
See, and that's something that really bothers me, because I feel like we're not giving them another chance to actually see what the issue is as far as fighting. Being a teacher, I see students just, you know, they get egged on and they may be frustrated, and they just, you know, things happen. So, Reverend Finkley, what can the Next Generation movement do to help stop the process before it starts? Because we don't want our students to go to jail like just jumping, because we already have enough young black men in jail and young black women in jail now. What can the Next Generation movement do to help with this process?
Well, number one, let me say kudos to Reverend Thomas and the work that he's doing to be a bridge between trouble and success. That's commendable for you to do that. I always say it starts with attitude, but it ends in action. And to see the witness what we saw today was extraordinary. Of course, the goals and the visions have always been for the Next Generation Movement is to reach 12 million children and youth to be drug-free, jail-free, and gun-free, and to create a culture of peace and nonviolence. Here in Escambia County, Reverend Thomas made me aware that incarceration is a major problem. I think I'm too like you, Ms. Peterson, that that's kind of punitive if a child get into a fight and they immediately goes to jail and they're filtering through the system. And so since that is the case, we didn't waste any time enlisting. Of course, we have a list of children we have here, but we also enlisted the parole officers.
Yes.
Because we need to be able to think like they think and put this think tank together to be able to facilitate the child. We even went further to be able to say, okay, we need the sporting leagues. We want to monopolize the sporting leagues. We want to monopolize football, baseball, t-ball, whatever children need, we want to be able to monopolize that. And I think what we can be responsible for as a Next Generation Movement is keeping the children off the streets from this hour to that hour, that when they get home, it's minimal, it's homework time, dinner time, and bedtime. Minimal time to get in trouble, if you will. But it takes a village. It really does take a village. And I've had some epiphanies even in here today. And those that missed this session today needed to be here. And we're not going to stop here. We're moving forward. We're even talking now how we can take this even further. Because we want to be a blessing, not only to, and here's what really just shocked me. Some of the parents were crying out to say that I don't know the answers.
Wow.
And what do you do when you don't know the answer? And the only thing I know to do is to bring all the stakeholders to the table. Parole officers, judges, lawyers, everybody that's a part of this child's. If this child gets in trouble, he's going to have a parole officer, right? He's going to go before the judge. He's going to have a lawyer. You'll be appointed a lawyer. You'll go before a judge, and you'll have a parole officer. We need all three of them at the table.
Exactly.
Then we need school teachers because they have them from 8 to 3:30 or sometimes after school. We need coaches because they're participating in extracurricular activities. And so when you put all that together, but again, I also take the blame. The church hadn't been all that it needs to be. True. And I have to take that blame. So we're all complicit in that, and I say that all the time. We're all complicit in whatever's happening in our communities.
True. As you were saying, parents. We had a parent that was a school teacher and was reaching out to principals and teachers to be in the classroom with their child, and they were denied. And I think that's a problem. A lot of our parents don't know their rights as parents when it deals with the school system. And I can truthfully say, as a teacher, it gets tiring to deal with different situations every day, but we have to constantly give an eye-opener to teachers, to superintendents, to stakeholders that deal with education, to know that every child is different, every situation is different. And if a child is constantly being bullied, of course they're going to try to retaliate. They're getting tired. So what can we do? I know we was telling parents to tell children to tell, but what can you do if a child is in that child's face? What are they supposed to do? What can we do?
That's a very interesting thing what you're saying, because the culture of today is so different. The level of bullying is so different. Even when we don't see it is happening, it's going on, it's transpiring. And so when these things are happening and going on, and we have to really take notice. When these children even here misbehave or do something out of line, we try to make sure the last resort is to kick them out. Because if we throw these children out of this facility, it's not what we throwing them out of, it's what we throwing them into.
Yes.
So this is a safe haven, this is a refuge for them. They have nowhere else to go, and so we try to make sure that we create programs And that's why this was so important, and to hear the parents even asking afterwards, when are you guys gonna do this again? Is this something that you do every week? And it's wild because it's like supply and demand. It's what they're asking for.
Right.
So we have to get back together and start processing this whole thing, because you see the level of importance that the parents have for this type of help, this type of assistance. So you can imagine, without us sitting here this evening, what would they have been doing? Sitting at home, still trying to figure this out, not knowing who they can talk to, not having the certain people just to come and share this type of information, and just to see their response to the information that was given and the question that they were asking lets us know that we're in a state of emergency.
There is a state of emergency that we have to handle, because when to me, I think we overlook the old way. And when we overlook the old way and don't try to enhance it into a new way, we lose aspects of things. Because I know growing up, I had issues and problems, because I had not only children that were jealous of me picking, but I had adults who were picking with me because I was a preacher's child. And in order to get to my father, they were aggravating me. So everywhere I looked, it was issues. So sometimes I shut down to the man who I loved the most and wouldn't talk to him. So on the other hand, I would have activities at church. We had conventions. We had little activities after church, like Halloween things or Christmas things or things every week. We did something where they took us somewhere. They took us to the movies. They took us to the skating rink. They took us to different places. And then we had places like you have here, this resource center where we could go to as well. But now, as you look at it, it's shut down. We don't have all of those activities anymore. We don't, and even if we didn't want to go, you're going.
Yes.
It was no if, ands, but you're going to go. And then when we got there, we realized it was fun. So, Finkley, what can we do to get that back? Because now we got parents who are saying, well, if they don't want to go, we're not going to make them go. What can leaders in the church do to encourage parents to say, okay, they need to come regardless whether they want to or not? Can we step in and say, we'll help you get them there?
I think we need to meet people where they are. This pastor here is, it's about 7 o'clock. A little past 7, and I'm sure he's worked today, and but he's extending his reach outside the borders of his congregation, and for us to be able to grow as a community, as a church, we have to extend our reach. If Christ is so good, why can't we share him outside of the church?
Yes.
Yeah. If it's so good. Beyonce once said, if you like it, put a ring on it. Well, what's more precious than the children? That we can't be in covenant with them. And I'm saying thank you for extending beyond the normal routine, your normal routine of things. And having the foresight to say, somebody's calling, somebody's crying out. And I think, again, attitude. If it's a problem for you, I think you'll respond. But if it's not a problem, you're not going to respond. I mean, we saw in Texas, kid goes into the school, shoots the place up.
Because of love.
Birmingham goes in school and shoots the place up. Other places shoot the place up. Columbine, we're a long way from Columbine. And Sandy Hook and all of those places. But we see, it seems like history is repeating itself. And I'm just calling for pastors to help us and aid us in helping civic leaders, whoever they may be, to help us with these children. I'm not asking for you to sign a petition. I'm just asking for parents to be at a PTA meeting. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for daddies to go and run to Egypt. I'm just asking for you to run and check on your child. I'm not asking for mothers to go and stand in the Vatican. All I'm asking is that you comb your daughter's hair. That's all I'm asking. And I think we can do better.
Yes, definitely.
As a church body, we have to do better. Otherwise, what are we? We become a part of the problem instead of the solution. And I refuse to be a part of the problem. Yes, that's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as the young lady in Texas said on an interview earlier today, she said she never thought it would happen in her area. She never thought it would happen in her school. Everybody knew what was wrong with this young man, but nobody ever thought he would take it that far. We don't know what our children are going through unless we're there, unless we're asking questions. You have to be a questioning parent. You can't be their friend. You have to be a responding parent. You can't be their friend. I want to thank you, Reverend Thomas, for doing what you did today. It was definitely needed, and Next Generation Movement, as you said, Reverend Finkley will be back to do programs. Reverend Finkley told parents that they're going to give out gift cards to the students, and they're going to come back and do other activities such as basketball programs, and hopefully, because I'm going to say it, they'll do some art programs, because y'all know I am about that music thing. So, because all students are not athletic. But, yes. So, we need your help. We're asking that in your area, if you need Next Generation Movement, let us know. Don't keep your mouths closed. A closed mouth can't be fed. So we need you to let us know what you need from us. Reverend Finkley, can you give your information, and Reverend Thomas as well, because I'm sure you need resources. You need people and resources to continue doing what you're doing here. So can you give your information so they can contact you?
Reverend Dr. Jamal Finkley, 3171 Green Valley Road is my address. Cahaba Heights, Alabama 35243. You can call me at 205-704-4890, or you can email me at Finkley, Finkley, 75
Pastor Tayuka Thomas, I'm pastor of Edwards Chapel and Design Church here in Pensacola, Florida. Phone number is 850-288-3191. You can reach me at THEYU8@AOL.com.
Thank you, and we hope you become a part of this movement.